Okay. Hello. Hey, Milo. How you doing? Can you hear me? Hello.
Hi.
How's everything?
Good.
How's your week? Did you guys do anything new this week?
No, we're still doing two-step equations.
Okay. Oh, were you able to get the worksheets from? I think I sent it to your mom to print out.
Yeah, the graph.
Yeah. Were you able to practice some of those just to if you finish your homework early?
Yeah, I did those.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Well, since you guys are still doing the basic stuff, did you want to review anything from two steps, or did you want to just move on?
No, I think I'm good with
Okay.
two.
Okay. So I guess we'll just continue doing what we were doing last time. I think we did radicals. Let's see if just do one, just to reinforce it every time. So we'll do radicals, and then rationals, and then we'll do more of the graphing, and then the slopes. All right. So let's look at this. So for this guy, just to review it, do you remember what to do when there's a radical in the denominator?
Multiply it.
So you multiply it bottom and top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to do this, so let's see. All right. So you do 4 minus root 5, and then 4 minus root 5. Okay. And so then you distribute it. So let's see. So this is going to be 4 root 5 plus 12. And so this one actually has more terms. So 4 root 5 plus 12. And the other one is minus 5 minus 3 root 5. And so this is going to be so 16. And then minus 4 root 5 and minus 4 root 5 plus 5. Okay. And these ones were just, what would you do next after this?
Add or subtract like terms. Combine like terms.
Okay. So this one is 12 minus 5, so that's 7. And then this guy is minus root 5. And then 16, that's 21. And let me see. So this is plus 8, or let me see. I think we're doing something wrong here. Let me think. Oh, so these are different. Let's see. Oh, actually, we made a mistake. I think what we're supposed to do. So this is actually a step up from what we did last time. So the thing that I think you times the bottom and the top is the conjugate. So yeah, let me just define it. So this is negative, right?
Yeah.
So you times it by so to cancel this out, you have to times it by the opposite. So plus root 5. So 4 plus root 5. Let's see first. Let me explain that after I get something. So, but you do the same thing. Let me just look at the bottom first. So you have 16 minus plus. Okay, so the root 5 disappears. Okay, yeah, that's what you do. So 16, and then you have minus 4 root 5 plus 4 root 5. And then you have minus root 5 times root 5. I'm just going to write that down and we'll simplify it. Then 4 root 5 and the plus root 5 plus 12 plus 3 root 5. And then we still combine like terms. So just doing the bottom, seeing if there's no radicals. So these two cancel out, right? Because they're negative and plus.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we do the opposite. So 4 minus, and you do 4 plus root 5 so that they cancel out. And then this right here, this just simplifies to 5. So 60 minus 5 is 11. And then the top would be, this one is just 5. So 12 plus 5 is 17. And 4 root 5 plus 3 is 7 root 5. There you go. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do something like that again, because we didn't actually touch on this one. So let's see, let's just erase most of these. And I think this is quite important, on top of like everything else on radicals. Because the one that we did before was just, there was no addition or subtraction at the bottom. It was just multiplication. Just all this stuff that we did. So if you, I think all of that starts from here. All right, so let's actually do some of these just so like we can know them. So for this one, the bottom is 4 plus 4 root 5, right?
Yeah.
And then when you have to times it, not just by itself, but by the conjugate. So you have to times it by 4 minus 4 root 5. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when you see something like that, just switch the sign of where the radical is. And 4 root 5. And then everything is the same after that. And then so let's see. So the bottom is 16 and minus 4 root 5 plus 4 root 5. And then you do minus, let's see. You have 16 is that minus 4 times 5. Let me think about this one. 4. Okay. 4 times 5. Oh no, 16. 16 times root 5 times root 5. Okay, and then the top is 12 minus 12 root 5. And then so this one cancels out. See, 12 minus 12 root 5. And then you have this as 5. So 16 minus 16, that's 0, 3, 80. Wow, this one doesn't look good because it's such a big number. So 16 minus 80. So I'm thinking that's 50. No, 60, 64. Yeah, 64. So this is minus 64. So let's take a look at something. So 12 Let me see, 12, you can't take 12 out. So the next thing would be 4, I'm guessing. I think it's 4. 16 times 4. Yeah, it would be 4. So it would be 4, and then 3 minus 3 root 5. And then negative 64. How many 4s goes to there? That'll be 16. So 4 minus 16. This cancels, right?
Yeah.
And then this is pretty much the same thing. So you do 3 minus 3 root 5 minus 16 is the same as minus 3 plus 3 root 5 over 16, which is the answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's do something like that again. So this type of thing, the very first thing you do is just timesing it and then simplifying something. So let's take a look at this thing. So just rewriting it. You have 5 over negative 5 minus 3 root 3. So you times it by its conjugate, right?
Yeah.
So that's negative 5 plus 3 root 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so tell me what you get at the bottom when you distribute it.
Negative 25 plus
Is it still negative?
25
Okay.
plus root 9.
I would probably do, let me see this. So plus, so it'll be minus, right?
Yeah.
Minus 9 times. Oh, if you want to do mental math, the square root of 3 disappears, so it's times 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about the top?
Negative 25
Negative 25
plus 3 times radical 3.
What about the 5? Negative 25, you're timesing the 5, right?
Yeah.
So that's 15.
Yeah.
So 15 times root 3. Okay, and then so now let's try to simplify. Negative 25 plus 15 root 3. And then that's 25 minus 27. So that's negative 2, right?
Yeah.
I think we're already there, actually. So now you just, for the most part, you don't want something like this. So you try to like times it by the negative to the top. You don't want something like negative 2 at the bottom. So that's why you always transfer the negative to the top. And then you end up getting 25 minus, right?
Yeah.
Because you're transferring it to the top. And then so that's what you get. Okay. So that one's not that bad. Let's do more of this actually, because this is something different. So let's do 17. So what's the very first step?
Multiply it.
By what?
2.
The bottom, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what am I supposed to write here?
The same thing times the same thing.
And then what? What about the sign for the radical one? Is it still negative or is it positive?
Positive.
Okay, so positive 3 root 3. And then you do it to the top. So what now? What do you do now?
Distribute.
Yeah. So for this, let's see. So you do, the bottom would be negative 3, so that's going to be 9. And then minus 1, so that cancels out. So you do negative 9, and then it's going to be 20. It's going to be 3 here. So 9, 9, and 3. And then negative 15 plus 15 root 3. All right. So with that, the negative 15, I'll probably 15 is probably going to come out. So let's see if we have to do that. 9 minus 27, right?
Yeah.
Is minus 18. And then you have minus 15 up top. So something will come out. So what you have to do here is, let's just write it down first. Plus 15 root 3. So 15 and 15, 15, and then 18. What comes out of that? Like, what's something common?
5 and 3. Or
Yeah,
15.
5 and 6. 3 is the one that's common, right?
Yeah.
So let's take that out. So let's take out a negative 3. And then let's see. And then you put in like a 5 here. I think it's pretty much this, right?
Yeah.
And then the bottom is also 3. Let's do 3, or negative 3 rather. And let's put in 6, right? And this cancels with this guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just that, timesing it by the conjugate and then doing some factoring. And this is what you get. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing here is, let's see. Right. Let's do number 18. Okay, so again, you times it by the what?
The denominator.
The conjugate, right?
Yeah.
So root 2, still the same, and then what?
And then minus plus 5.
Plus 5 root 3, okay. And then so root 2 plus 5 root 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you distribute and you try to factor something out. So root 2 times root 2, what is that at the bottom?
Root 4.
Which is what?
2.
Yeah, okay. And then you obviously have, the negatives, 5 root 3 cancels out. So you have negative 25, right?
Yeah.
And then the root 3 times root 3, what is that?
Not root
3.
9. And then it would be 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want you to get to the kind of, I mean, like right now, you guys are not doing it yet, but once you're doing it all together, yeah, try to do it quick, and then more of this will be good. So 2 minus 25 times 3, and then to the top, what's the first thing? 4 what? 4 root
4 root
2,
2.
and then that's the next one.
Plus
20, right?
yeah.
So
Oh,
20,
yeah.
20 root 3. All right, let's see where we get. So 2 minus 75. That's minus 73, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then to the top, let's see what happens at the top. I mean, actually, we're technically there. I don't think this simplifies. The only thing you have to do is, let me write it down first, is to transfer the negative, this guy up top. So it's 4 root 2 minus 20 root 3 over 73. Just like that. Okay. All right, 19. So this one, it looks like there's a lot of terms up top. So what was the very first thing you have to do?
Multiply by the I forgot what it was called.
Conjugate.
The conjugate.
Yeah, it's always good to know what that is. So what you do here is negative 4 minus 4 root 2, and negative 4 minus 4 root 2, right?
Yeah.
And then you just simplify something. You distribute and try to simplify. So the bottom, what's the first term you get?
16
Yes, okay. And then what's the second term?
minus 16.
Okay, and then what am I multiplying this?
4.
2, right?
Yeah.
Square root of 4 is 2.
Yeah.
All right, what about up top? There's 4 terms up top, so tell me the first one.
-8
Okay, and then what's the next one?
minus 20.
Okay, you want to do that one. So minus 20 root 6, right?
Yeah.
And what's the next one? There's like 4 of them, right? There's 4 terms. So
What
you have
would be the next one?
then you have to distribute this guy. You have to distribute these two. You gave me 2 terms. You have to distribute them. What's the other 2?
-20.
Negative 20.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think you already did that one. Oh wait, hold on. No, negative 20. Okay, that one. Yeah. Okay. And let me see if the negative 20 root 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the next one?
Minus 20 root 3. Wait, no, root 6.
There's no roots. You mean 8? Minus 8? This outside term, minus 8, right?
Yeah.
Minus 8 root 2. You guys done this distribution before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The best thing I would do is just to go from outside in. So like doing this is just like this. So you go from 2 and you distribute it. So you would do minus 8, and don't try to switch them. So like minus 8 root 2 like that, and then do the inside next, like this guy next. So that would be like minus 20 root 2, something like that, which is pretty much the same. Let me think. Root 6 actually. Root 6, yeah. 20 minus 20 root 3. There you go. That's the reason why. Yeah, minus 20 root 3 and minus 20 root 6. Okay. All right. So after that, you have to simplify. So the bottom, let's take a look at the bottom. So 16 minus 32, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be minus 16. And let's see if we can simplify this one. So I think there's a common 4 term that you can take out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me just rearrange this one so it's like easier to read. Minus 20 root 3 minus 20 root 6. Okay. It seems like all of them have minus. Like all of them have minus, yeah?
Yeah.
So that means you can take out a negative, make them all positive. So that's like the very first thing I would do to make it easy. So they're all positive now, which you can do. And then you look at the coefficients here, 8, 8, 20, 20, and 16. They all have something in common, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
A 2 divisible by 2.
4.
Or 4.
You could upbeat it. Yeah, 4. So if you take out 4, just 4 from the top and bottom, let's see what happens, right? It'll be this guy at the bottom is the easiest one. It'll be 4 at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And then the top one would be like 2 plus 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 plus 5 root 6, right?
Yeah.
This one cancels, this one cancels. And that's what they get. So, 2 plus 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 plus 5 root 6, yeah? Divided by 4.
Yeah.
And that's how they got that one. Okay. So that one isn't bad. Like, you just have to, if anything, just be careful with how you distribute things. to try and make sure you're distributing before you're simplifying. All right, let's do number 18 and then we'll move on and do the other ones later on. So what's the very first step?
Multiply the
By the conjugate, right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at this actually, because there's two roots. The other ones only had one root. Here is like root 2 and root 3. So I would say, yeah, you could do 5 root 3 here, right?
Yeah.
But this other root, let's see if you have to, let's just see. So let me see. I think you could leave it the way it is, because then this cancels, it's going to cancel each other, right? It's going to be 4 or 2.
Yeah.
And then when you do the outside one, yeah, it's going to cancel. So that's all you have to do, really. Like make sure the first number or either one, you could either switch this, but one of them is the only one that you have to switch. One of them is the only one that you have to switch to root 2 and then root 3. And then what's next?
Distribute.
Okay. So the bottom, tell me what you have to get, or what you're gonna get.
2
2. Okay, good.
minus
What's the next term?
25.
Good. And then what are you timesing that?
3.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is already. It's right. You could already see what that is. So what about the top?
4 squared 2. I mean, not squared. Radical 2.
Okay, 4 root 2. And then 5, let's see, 5, 20, root 3. Okay. And then so that one, the bottom is minus 73. 4 root 2 plus 20 root 3. And then again, move the negative to the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all that is. Okay. Actually, I did say that's the last one, but I think we already did that actually. Let's actually go to 22. 22 is probably the hardest one, so just try that one. So what's the very first thing again?
I keep forgetting it.
Multiplying it
The
by the
conjugate.
Yeah. So you times it by the first term always is the same, right?
Yeah.
And then the second term is opposite sign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just remember that way. Right now it doesn't matter if you, but it's called the conjugate. So just timesing it by that, the opposite of the second term. So tell me the bottom. What do you get? What's the first term?
4 root 5.
But then you're multiplying it by the same thing. What is that? 4 root 5 times 4 root 5. What is
16 root 25.
which is what? Times that by what? 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're minusing it by what? For this one.
Minus 9 root.
Good.
9 times 2.
9 times 2. Good. Okay. And then the top? You have to distribute the inlet. Do it like this. So do this one first. And do this one next. So what's the first thing?
12 root 5.
12 root 5. And then what's the second thing?
Negative 9 root.
Plus, do the second. Do this one second. This guy.
Negative 9 root 2.
Okay. And then this one?
16 root 15.
Root 15. Okay. And then the last one?
12
plus
roots
12.
12 times 12 root 6.
Good, good. Yeah, that's good for mental math. It's always good to like just know how to do that. It's a good skill. Okay. And then now you simplify, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 16 times 5 is 80. Let's see. 80 minus 18. So that looks right. 62. Okay. And the top, I think we're already good up top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this actually simplifies as what we already have, which is 62 to root 2 minus 16 root 15 plus 12 root 6, which is good. All right, let's move on. So for the next one, let's actually work on these guys. So I think we'll cover this for a good amount, and then probably just cover a few last minutes on the just reviewing the lines. But I wanna slow down and actually do more of these. So let's do number 2. What do you do with these guys?
Cross multiply.
So you have to switch it first, right?
Oh.
So like when you're dividing by something, you're multiplying it by the what?
Denominator.
You're switching this guy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you're dividing it. Yeah. So when you're doing this, you switch it and then you multiply it. So the very first thing when you do these things is you wanna like simplify them so it's easy to like cancel, or so it's easy to multiply, so you wanna like simplify it first. So this n right here cancels with this guy, right?
Yeah.
And there's another thing that cancels or simplifies. The 16 and the 8, that's 2 and 1, right?
Yeah.
And let's see. I think that's it. So that's 12 over 17. Yeah, 12 over 17, yeah. 12 over 17, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So actually scroll down so it's like easy for us to check. So we did this one, we did this one. So with this one, what was the first thing?
You flip the second term.
Okay. And so it's like this, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the second thing?
You
simplify.
simplify.
Okay. So with this one, there's no other x. So I would just simplify the numbers. So like for this one right here, I mean, you could do 2 over 18 or 8 over 18, whichever one. I would probably do this guy first. 1 over, I guess, 9, yeah. 1 over 9. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And you just times it. So it's 8x squared over 63, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this one. What's the first thing?
Flip the second term.
Okay, so flip the second term. So that's 12 over 7 plus 11r over 4. And
Simplify.
what are you simplifying on this one?
The 12 and the 4.
Good. Okay. And then what?
Multiply.
33r over 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5. What's the first thing?
Flip the second term.
Okay. 9a over 6. What's next?
Simplify.
What would you do? How would you simplify this?
Could you simplify the 18 and the 9?
Yeah, that's usually the one, like when you're doing these things, I would simplify that way instead of like 9 and the 6. Same with this other guy. That's what we did here as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most common thing to do. And then that'll be 1, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they did here. So 7a over 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what about this next one? First thing.
Flip the second term.
Okay. And then what's next?
Simplify.
So what is that? Which one are you simplifying?
Both of the 5s.
Okay. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
20x. All right. Let's do this one now. same thing, but now it's there's some arithmetic going on here. So you have 4n, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to times it by the, what am I timesing this on?
Flip the second term.
So 4n over 4 minus 48 over 4n, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what do I do?
You can simplify the n. You can cross out the n.
And the 4 as well, right?
Yeah.
So this cancels. So you're getting 8n minus 48 over n minus 6, right?
Yeah.
So what can I do with the sun? So let's see. There's an 8 here up top, I think. There's an 8 up top that can be like this, right?
Yeah.
8n minus 6, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have n minus 6 at the bottom. And then this cancels out, yeah?
Yeah.
And you get 8. So that's how they got 8. All right, let's try do number 8. All right, what's the first thing?
Flip the second term.
Okay, b plus 1 over 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And let's see. So 328. What can you do now?
You can cross out the b and the 3.
Just not the b yet, because it's being plus, right?
Oh, yeah.
So actually you don't even need to do anything to the b. It's just this guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do number 9. So yeah, 7a squared over 7a cubed plus 56a squared, right?
Yeah.
And then you times it by what?
Times it by
So
a.
this is the one where we had to do something. So okay, we'll times it by a squared first, right?
Yeah.
And minus 8 over 2. Okay, good. The thing is, I think I remember doing this one. Yeah, I remember doing this one. You have to take out. Let me see if you can simplify the first one. We should simplify this first one right here. This one's actually pretty hard, so you should simplify this first guy. So the 7a squared, I think you can do 7a squared at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually going to be, I think it's like a plus, what is that? That's 8, right?
Yeah.
So like that. So that cancels out, and then you just got 1 over a plus 8. Yeah?
Yeah.
Thing is, this top guy right here, we can do something with this one. Do you remember what we did last time?
No.
Okay, let's do it again, because this is an important thing. So this is like factoring a polynomial, which is what we have right here. And if you remember, we always have two things being multiplied. And we do it like this. So you have a here and a here, right? Because you want to get a squared.
Yeah.
So you have that, but then you also have inside terms. So these inside terms, they have to add to 7a, and then when you multiply them, it's negative 8, right?
Yeah.
So what two things do you add when you multiply them gives you negative 8? Do you know?
2 and negative 4 and 2.
It gives you 6 though. There's like, what's it?
Add.
Yeah, there's 8 and 1. There's 4 and 2, 2 and 4, right?
Yeah.
But when you add them, so I would probably do this one right here. So plus 8 minus 1 gives you what, 7?
Yeah.
And then when you times them, it gives you what? Minus 8, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one. So you put that right here, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to check if it does give you that one, You know, we're gonna do more of this once we get to that like polynomial. Right now we're still in the monomials, just one thing. So yeah, you do a squared, right? Same thing as what you've been doing, like that and like this, right?
Yeah.
So 1 minus a plus a, 8a minus 8, right? And this one is minus 7a, or plus 7a rather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the one. So does that make sense though?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so it's 8a, or a plus 8, I meant. A plus 8, a minus 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so this cancels out with this guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why you do that, because you want to cancel it with the bottom here. And you end up with a minus 1 over 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And that one, yeah, that's a mouthful. A lot of it is like you gotta learn how to simplify, and then you gotta learn how to do the factoring the polynomial. So let's do this one right here. So what's the very first thing?
Flip the second term.
Okay. So it's 35x plus 5, right?
Yeah.
Over 6. And what's next?
Try to simplify.
What's the first thing you would simplify right off the bat?
The 6.
Okay, so this, I don't know why it does this every time. The 6. And then so now you're left with 35x plus 5 over 28x plus 4, right?
Yeah.
So how do we turn that into something else? How would you do this one? Let me think about this one. Is it 35x plus 5 to 8 plus 4? It is that one. So how did they get 5/4? How did they get 5/4 for this one? Let's see. So, I mean, I'm thinking there's a 7 here, right? I think, and there's a 7 right here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But how did they get that into like that kind of form? Because if you times it by 7, this guy right here doesn't work. So if you do 7, 4x plus, unless you did, let's just see, 5/4. Top goes as, you can't really cancel that one though. Let me see, maybe it's the inside that cancels out. It's actually the inside, I think, that cancels out. So when you times it by 5, it's 7x plus 1, right?
Yeah.
It's 7x plus 1. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the way, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you do that, 5/4. All right. What about this next one? Now these are going to get harder.
Flip the second term.
Yeah. X squared plus 10x plus 16. X squared plus 6x plus 8. X plus 4 over 1, right?
Yeah.
So we have to do what we did on the other one with this first term right here. So the top one, what do you have to times it to get the x squared plus 10x plus 16? So it's x first, right?
Yeah.
And then what do you multiply to get 16 so that you can get 10 when you plus them? What is that? Which one is that? 8 and 2, I think, right?
Yeah.
Plus 8 plus 2. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the bottom? You tell me the bottom, actually. So what am I multiplying?
X.
And then what's the inside? What do you multiply to get 8? And then when you add them, gives you 6.
4 and 2.
Good. That's a good one. So it's this guy, right?
Yeah.
So you cancel this guy, right?
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And then when you times it, because that's not the only thing we have. We have this x plus 4 guy, right?
Yeah.
You times it, you cancel this guy as well, right? The bottom.
Yeah.
And then you're left with x plus 8. So yeah, that's not bad. It's the harder part is just getting this first one. All right, let's do number 12. What's the first step?
Flip the second term.
Okay, plus 21 over 6x, and then 6 over 42x plus 18, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so with that, what can you cancel? The 6. You
Yeah.
can cancel the 6, so it's like 1. And then let's just rewrite it. So you have 49x plus 21 over x, and then you have 142x plus 18, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar to what we had in the other one, where you have to factor out like a number somehow. So what number would you, let me think. So you have 42x plus 18, and then 49x plus 21. So they're saying it's a 7. So like 7, 6. It's probably 7 and 6 at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So when you do 7, after you factor out 7, what do you get? 7x plus what? Plus 3?
Plus 3, yeah.
Yeah, over x. And then the other one would be, let's take a look at the other one. You factor out 6, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you get?
2.
The 42? This is 42?
Oh, 7.
7x, and then the 18?
3.
And that's how you do it. Like, that's a common one. They usually like doing something like this. So what do you cancel now?
The 7x.
Plus 3?
Yeah.
And then so it's 7 over 6x, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Let's look at this guy. So you have 7, 8r minus 40. And then you do 8r minus 4. This is an easy one, actually. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you just cancel this guy, right?
Yeah.
And you get 7. So let's take a look at something harder. This next one. So let's see. This next one here is 1 over 2a. And then you multiply it by the what?
2a squared.
Okay,
Plus
16
16a.
over 8a. Okay. And then what do you do now? What would you do?
You can simplify the 16a and the 2a.
By what? How would you do? How would I do that?
Oh, never mind.
You can, but what would you do? What would you get out? 2a, right?
Yeah.
So when I factor out a 2a, what do I get inside?
8.
So what is a and then 1?
8a.
A plus 8?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at that. So then you have that guy over 8a, and then you're multiplying it by 1 over 2a, right?
Yeah.
So what cancels out?
The 2a.
So that cancels out. And then you're left with, because I think you're done already. 1a plus 8 over 8a. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's not that bad. Let's look at number 15. Number 15. Okay. So this one is 8 over 4n squared minus 16n. And n minus 4 over 1. So, what's the first thing you do?
You can't simplify anything.
The bottom, not yet. Well, the bottom you can factor something out, right? Yeah.
What could you factor?
You would technically like the 4 into 16, right? So that would be 4 is the least one, right?
Yeah.
So you can take out 4, and what about the n? This is the least one as well, right?
Yeah.
So 4n. So if I factor out 4n, what do I times it by?
4
4, just 4.
to get 16
What about this whole thing?
times 4n.
Nah, yeah. So 4n times what? Like, what am I timesing 4n to get 4n and squared minus 16n? What am I timesing 4n? To get this guy. Two things, right? And we have to distribute it.
2n.
Well, the first thing is, how do you get 4n squared from 4n? What do you times 4n?
4n.
Isn't it n? Isn't it n that you times 4n?
Yeah.
Right? Like what? Because then you need to only increase the n to like n squared, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the next term?
Minus 4n.
Minus 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have done something like this before, like the when you distribute it.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do more of it. So because this is an important skill, if you can't do that, like it's hard to multiply this or to even simplify it. So you have to be able to take this guy out from this guy. All right, so 4n. And then so now you can minus this n minus 4, right?
Yeah.
So you can cancel it out. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's how you had to do that one. So 8 over 4n. What else can you do with this one? For this guy, what else can you do?
You could simplify it.
Okay, by how?
Divided by 4.
So the top, what happens at the top?
It would be 2.
It'd be 2, and then the bottom.
Would be 1 n.
So it's that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's how you do that. Let me just see something here. I thought I had that one here. What's the word? Oh, it's right here. Okay. All right. So okay, let's do a couple more, and then we'll move on to the lines. So let's see number 16. Okay, for this one, what's the first thing you do?
Flip the terms.
Okay. So you have a minus 4 times n by a squared minus 2a minus 8, right? I think we're gonna have to do something to this bottom one. So what's this a minus 5 over 1? So what's the thing that you do at the bottom here?
Distribute.
So you have to factor these two guys, right? Every time you see something, you have to factor two guys. So what two things can you factor? So a and then a, right?
Yeah.
So what two things can you times gives you -8, but when you add them gives you -2? This is a tougher question, yeah. So two things that you times, it gives you -8. And when you add them, gives you -2. It's a negative and a positive number. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know.
-4. -4 is the first one,
A -2.
but it has to be negative, right?
Oh yeah, 2.
+2, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
-4 times +2 gives you -8. And when you add them, gives you -2. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's a tougher one because it's a negative. This one is a negative. There's always that tendency to like, oh, what is it? So now, for this one, what do you cancel out?
A.
A -4.
Yeah, A -4.
And then, so I think that's it, right? A -5 over A + 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So enough of this. We'll move on to the line. So I'll actually, let me see. Where did we put the line one? For the line things, which ones did you not understand? Like on this, like you did some of the worksheets, right?
Yeah. I did both of them.
Okay, there's like a couple of them. Which one is the one that did you do? Maybe we'll do some of those. I don't have them here, but I'll put them here next time. Which ones did you look at?
I don't have the paper right now.
Okay, let me see if I can get that too. Okay, let's
But I
see.
did both of the first side of the sheets.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about. There's a slope one, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at the slope from a graph. Maybe not that one. Let's look at like the one we're using the linear equations. So yeah, this is actually a good skill. Do you remember doing the slope-intercept in the standard form? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so from that one, do you remember how to change it from one end to another?
From what?
From like slope to standard and standard to slope.
No.
Okay, so let's maybe review that one. So you have 3x minus 2y equals -16, right?
Yeah.
So this is the standard form. And then I want to change this to the slope-intercept form, right?
Yeah.
So the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, right?
Yeah.
So I want to change it to something like this. So in your mind, what would you do? Like you have a y here already, right?
Yeah.
So what would you do? It's the very first thing you should do. For this one. What would you do? So like the 3x right here. Yeah, you have to move it to the right, right?
Yeah.
So you minus 3x and then minus 3x, right?
Yeah.
And then what does that give me?
-2y equals -16 minus 3x.
Okay. So -16 minus 3x. What I usually do is for this is I look at the y mx equals mx plus b. I usually like putting this first so that we have x first. So you do like minus 3x minus 16, yeah?
Yeah.
And then what do you do now? After this, what's the next step? You divide it, you isolate the y, right?
Yeah.
So you divide it by the coefficient. And then so -3x over -2, that's 3/2 x, right?
Yeah.
And then -16 divided by -2 is what?
8.
8. 8, yeah? Just 8.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's it. That's how you transfer the or transform the standard form to the slope-intercept form. All right, let's do something else. Something different. Same thing, but like something. So let's do this, and I want you to tell me how you change this. So what would you do here?
Minus 13x.
Okay, minus 13x minus 13x. So minus 11y equals minus 13x minus 12, right?
Yeah.
And what's next?
Divided by negative 11.
Okay, this is kind of like your guys' two-step stuff. So negative y, and then what's next?
Negative 13x over 11.
Negative?
I mean positive.
Okay, 13 11 over, and then what about the next one? The y-intercept.
Minus 12.
Minus 12?
12 over 11.
Okay.
Plus 12.
Okay. Just another, I guess to ask another question. What is the slope here then? What is the m?
Y. Wait.
And remember, the slope-intercept form is y mx plus b, right?
Yeah.
So what is your slope, m?
13 over 11x.
Just 11, right? The x isn't there because it's just the m. Because the x is just a coordinate, right?
Yeah.
The slope is just this number in front of it. What about your b? What is your b? Your y-intercept?
12 over 11.
Okay, good. Yep. That's we're just gonna work with equations. We'll graph next time because we've been doing that a lot. So let me give you now. I mean, it's not really that hard. It's pretty much the same thing. But why don't we give you the? So we have this number, 1 and 2, and the slope is 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the question is, give me the standard form. What is the standard form equation? So the very first thing I would do is form the slope-intercept form. So you have an m here, right?
Yeah.
So I would fill in what you have. So you have y mx, so 7x plus b, yeah?
Yeah.
But you don't have b, right?
No.
So, but you're given this point that this line passes through. So what would you do to get b?
Subtract it on both sides.
Yeah, but then before we do that, what point, like what can you do with this coordinate? You can just plug in the coordinate and then solve for b, right?
Yeah.
So right, like this y and x are just these exact coordinates. I mean, like they can be anything, but this you're given one of them, so you might as well plug it in, right?
Yeah.
So 2 equals 7 times 1 plus b. So
Yeah.
now you can actually solve for b, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So what's b then? So b equals,
B equals 9.
you minus this guy because it's the opposite. So is it what is it? Is it 9?
A negative 5.
Okay, so that's negative 5, yeah. Okay, so now we got negative 5 for b. We got b and we got m. So we can just plug it back in here to get our slope-intercept form, yeah?
Yeah.
So minus 5. So that's our slope-intercept equation. And the question here is asking, what is the standard form? So we have to convert this to the standard form. So standard form being like ax plus by equals c, right? Something like that. So how would you get that? What would you do? So how would you get x and y on one side?
Divide by 7
Minus, yeah?
minus 7.
Yeah. So minus 7x plus y equals -5. Yeah?
Yeah.
So with that, usually people don't like it when there's a negative in front of this guy. And then also, I mean, you could just leave it the way it is, but I would probably divide it by -1. Yeah? Or
Yeah.
and then so it would be -7x minus y equals 5. This one looks cleaner. And that's the answer. All right, let's do something similar to that again. So why don't we get 3 and 5? And the slope here is 5/3, yeah?
Yeah.
And then find the standard form. Find the standard form. So you're given the slope, so you have y equals mx plus b, right?
Yeah.
So you're given the m, so that's y equals 5/3 x plus b. So how do I get b?
Plug in one of the numbers.
Okay, good, which is this guy, right?
Yeah.
So you plug in the x and the y. So the 5 equals 5/3 times this by 3 plus b. So just simplify. You have 5 equals 5 plus b. So b equals what? B equals
0.
exactly. Good. So b equals 0, m equals 5/3, and you plug this back in here. For your slope-intercept equation is 5/3 x without a b, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, and this is the slope-intercept. How do you get this in the form of ax plus by equals c? How do I get that form?
Minus 5/3x.
Okay, so I'll put that on the other side, right?
Yeah.
And what happens to the right hand side? This guy. What happens to this guy? It's 0, right?
Yeah.
And then we don't really like having fractions and negatives for our coefficient. So what we usually do is we just times it by the negative to take out the negative, and then the denominator. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just standard. And when you do that, you simplify the x as like 15, or not 15 because you have the 3. The it'll be 5x and minus 3y, yeah?
Yeah.
Equals this guy. Okay. We'll do 2 more and then we'll call it. Let's see. Let's do this guy. You're given 3, 1, and then your slope equals 1/2, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, there's actually another form. I'll talk about this other guy later on, the point slope form. There's actually a third one. I forgot about that one. There's a slope-intercept, there's a standard, and then the point slope. So we'll talk about the point slope. So right now, let's just talk about this one. So you have this guy and 3, 1, and then you need to get the standard form. Yeah? Standard form. Or ax plus by equals c. Yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah, y equals mx plus b. So what is your m?
3. 3
Your m is
over
3?
1. Or 1/3.
This is 2.
1/2.
Yeah, 1/2 x plus b. So how do you get b?
Plug in one of the numbers.
This guy, yeah?
Yeah.
So 1 equals 1/2, and then 3 plus b. So it's 1 equals 3/2 plus b. What is b? Negative.
-1/2.
Yep. Yeah. -1/2. Yeah, and this I'm just because like a lot of times when you could do the math, the actual calculation, but when you do mental math, it kind of reinforces it as well. So b equals -1/2, and the other one is m equals 1/2. So you plug this back in the equation, right?
Yeah.
So it's y equals 1/2 x minus 1/2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how do you turn this into the standard form?
Minus 1 over 2x.
Plus y, yeah?
Yeah.
Equals negative 1/2. And then what do you do now?
Divide the negative.
What I would do is times it by the -2, because you don't want negatives and you always multiply it by the denominator, yeah?
Yeah.
So when you do that, this first term becomes just x, and the next term becomes -2y, and then the negative 1/2 becomes 1, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's your standard form. All right, one more. Last one. You tell me what you have to do with this one. So m equals 2. So, and then you have to do y mx plus b, and then from that you get ax plus by equals c. All right, so what's their slope form?
2.
Y equals what?
2x.
Plus b, and then how do you get b?
Plug in -1.
So 2 -1 plus b, and that's 2 equals -2 plus b. What is b?
4.
Yep, so it's 4. And then you plug this back in the slope-intercept, this guy. So y equals 2x plus 4, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you turn this into the standard form?
Minus 2x.
Plus y equals 4, right?
Yeah.
And then what do you do now? -1, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want any negatives. No negatives for the x. -1 equals -4. And that's it. Okay, we'll cover point slope for next time. And then you already have all these worksheets. Can you print them out?
Yeah.
And then do some of them. Maybe look for the one that's similar to this, and then we'll cover point slope form next time.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Milo. See you next Thursday.
Bye.
All right, see you.